Hello. All right. So I had a wonderful coaching call last night, and I thought that something we discussed would be super helpful for you, which is be cautious with the idea of streaks. Streaks being in my fitness pal, I have been tracking for 90 days straight. I have gone 60 days without a binge. Whatever the streak is, be cautious with it. Here's why. I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of people, and I've seen that there are different personalities, and those can be affected. The personalities can be affected by streaks very differently. So I have some clients that when they're doing the streak, they're super motivated. Everything's great until the one day they miss. And this is probably the unfortunately the one that gets impacted the worst from streaks, which is they have one off day of not tracking. They have one day of a binge in the midst of a quote unquote long streak of not binging, and then they feel like they kind of fall off the rafters. They stop tracking. Binging starts happening more frequently because they made it about the streak. On the flip side of that, we have the person who might be super motivated by the streak and they're kind of white knuckling it to make it to a certain point, because they're viewing that as being valuable. And what I had with my coaching client that I just took on last night, she informed me she had gone, I want to say, over 30 days without a binge, which was the best she's ever done. And I had told her, she had been tracking all of her binging for the last couple years. And I said, well, I want you to go back to 2019 and get me a percentage. How many days did you binge out of the year? And then I told her to go to 2020 and do the same thing. And she thought that because she had the 30 days of being binge free this year would have been better. And when she did the calculations, what she realized is in 2019, she was at 17% binge frequency versus 2020, which was 19%. So even though she had a long streak of not doing the behavior, she still had more time of doing it. And so what I encourage people to do is to be super cautious with streaks, because again, they can be very motivating or very demotivating. I like to look at percentages. So if we're talking about tracking your food, what percentage of the time are you tracking your food? So if I have a client and they're really not very consistent with tracking, what I do is I figure out their percentage. So if I don't talk to them for 14 days, I don't think to myself, I want you to have a 7-day straight streak or something to that effect. I might add up the amount of days they fully tracked and I divide it and I get a percentage. And I'll tell you, you tracked really well for 50% of the time or whatever. And that way we're focusing on a percentage, because a percentage you can improve. It's much easier to improve. Streaks are either you pass or you fail, right? And I think that's why so many people struggle with it. It's kind of like, I have to keep the streak going, and if I miss just one day, you're kind of putting yourself on a precarious ledge. If you miss just one day or you binge one day, you totally screw up your streak, and then before you know it, you feel this sense of failure and why am I even doing this? It's almost like we're setting ourselves up for the fail, right? Whereas percentages allow you to make mistakes because you're looking at general improvement. So if I went, let's just say out of a month, I only had one binge day, right? I just would start to tabulate the percentages on that and say my goal is maybe to improve. Or if I have 4 days where I binge this month, I get a percentage and then I'm trying to improve. And you can look at doing this quarterly. You can look at doing this every 6 months. But I would encourage you, as tempting as it is, because I know people love streaks, as tempting as it is, I do want to just caution you to know that I have seen the fallout of streaks that can be harmful to people. I had a client who just full on stopped tracking because she kind of realized in my fitness pal that as long as she had logged in the morning to put her coffee, she didn't have to track anything. She got to keep her streak. So her streak became not meaningful, not meaningful to her. So she didn't really care anymore. She almost became kind of, whatever. I had to really work with her on this idea of finding a different way of tracking that did not incorporate that. So the reason I share this is because I've seen how, you know, for a little bit streaks can be exciting until you miss and then they're no longer exciting. Try focusing on percentages. If I this month tracked 20 days out of 30, figure out my percentage on that, and then maybe next month look to getting 1 or 2% higher. That's going to help you a whole lot. It's going to be a lot more forgiving, a lot more compassionate, a lot more kind, and it's going to give you a lot more opportunity to improve. So I hope this video helps. If you love streaks, they work for you, great. I just have seen the other side where somebody who is super motivated is now super not motivated, where somebody feels like a failure because they had a binge after a 30-day no binge streak. You know, I would encourage everyone to think about, and if you, here's a compromise. If streaks feel good to you, great. Try my approach too, okay? Do them both at the same time. All right, great. I have 30 days of tracking consistently. But if I were to take Heather's concept under my belt here, maybe I look at when I started tracking, right? And I figure out the percentage. And that way I kind of am aware of 2 markers of improvement as opposed to just 1. I hope this video is helpful. Please like and subscribe to me on YouTube. Let me know how I can better help you. And feel free to share these videos. I'm here to help as many people as possible. All right, I'll talk to you soon.